This is not the world that existed in the 40s through the 60s and 70s. So Ticonderoga, like many Adirondack towns, have seen this decline and are trying to come back.
We're facing the challenges that every small town in America are facing. But what's different about Ticonderoga, what's different about the communities that we serve is that our communities come together and no is never an option. We continue to move forward.
My name is William Dahlback. I was appointed to be the town historian in 2004. The purpose of that initial appointment was to put together the bicentennial of the history of the town of Ticonderoga. The first battle was Champlain was in July of 1609. So that was between Champlain and the Algonquin Federation Indians and the Iroquois, and the battle was here. Then after the wars, they knew about the water, power, and the rich resources here. The first mill here was 1864, and that was at the Lower Falls. You see the development of your school systems, development of the churches, your fraternal organizations. So it impacted the social aspects of the community.
Spent 37 years there, mainly in one department. I worked out throughout the mill, but mainly in one department now. But back when I first got hired there was roughly 1,000 employees, and it was shift work. I worked 29 years of rotating shifts, which is an awful wear and tear on your body. It used to be right in the village itself where the whole town was flooded in mill work. Your clothing on your clothesline were smelled of wood smoke and chemicals in the mill, and the river, the local river ran the color, whatever color paper they were making that day.
Downtown was very busy. We had 3 department stores, a very large department store actually. You didn't have to really drive very far for everything that you needed. We had a big ice rink in town at the end of Schuyler Street. That's where everybody would kind of conglomerate or hang out in the winter. And then in the summer, we all played sports together.
Well, it was 1971 when the mill moved from right here in the village to where the present day location is up further on Lake Champlain.
We once had a lot of small mom and pop stores. Those owners eventually passed away or they retired. Those spots were never refilled. We saw a lot of decline over the years. The mill moved from the center of town to the lake shore. So what was once a very bustling downtown, people running out and about and going to lunch, and just declined.
It changed a lot. The traffic was a lot different in town, but the dynamic in the town, it wasn't anywhere as busy in the village as it used to be. A lot of businesses left.
And when beginning in the 1960s, when the Northway, or I-87, was constructed, that eliminated or bypassed a number of the small communities that relied on that auto traffic. So that took a lot of your service into your restaurants, your motels, your hotels, but that had a major transition.
A lot of people like to blame the construction of the bypass in Ticonderoga, and that certainly did keep traffic from coming into Ticonderoga. Ticonderoga is unique geographically. Obviously, if it had been moved closer to town, it would have had a very major impact. It's about a 30 to 40 minute drive to get from here to the nearest exit on the Northway. It would have been nice if we had had an exit right off the Northway here. It would have been a major change for the town, but that was not something that ever was really probably destined to occur.
I think the adults, it's definitely changed. Ticonderoga is a great place to live, to return to, but we're making it more and more difficult for young families to I think it's getting better now, but it was difficult for young people to return after leaving. There wasn't as much opportunity here for them.
That that decline, it happened over many decades, and the stores just became vacant, and there wasn't a whole lot of incentive to improve upon that. I can't explain why. It's kind of like a lobster being put in a pot, at low temperature, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's hot now.
When I came in 1986, and the school was very vibrant and very active in the community. So I've been pretty active here, and the school is, we have come to close, of course, a couple years ago, but in 1986 it was flourishing, and we had well over 200 students, but we've always been small.
I went to school at St. Mary's, which at the time was pretty big. I had 26 kids in my class from kindergarten, and St. Mary's School kind of had to close down last year because they didn't have the enrollment. I think it's a big shift in the education and the opportunities for kids has changed a lot.
We've become an older population. Ticonderoga itself is more of a, I think of it sometimes as a resort, a place that people come and people go for the winter.
I have been in this role for 15 years. And the first few years, I did think to myself, oh geez, what did I step into? Both the organization had gone through some struggles, and obviously at that time the economy wasn't fantastic. So of course we have lost some businesses.
You don't have to drive to or through Ticonderoga to get somewhere else like you do in other Adirondack towns. So Ticonderoga really has to be a destination. You can't get people to come and work and raise a family and live here or even invest here if there's no place to put their children while they're working and there's nowhere to live.
I think our numbers are a little bit less. Obviously, we got a Walmart and a McDonald's, which kind of moved businesses outside of the main focus of downtown. A few of our buildings for a very long time were sitting kind of vacant and dilapidated.
That's how the decline occurs. If you're living here, you just don't see it until one day you open your eyes and you see where you are economically. And we are coming back, but it took a long time to get here. It's going to take a long time to get back.
We had a fire about 10 years ago. We were in school for one day. That night, actually, about 11:30, I got a call from the pastor that said the school was on fire. And it was an arson job. And 3 or 4 classrooms, were started. There's not one church or one group that did not contribute. Either they sent help, food, and people built walls in the basement of the church. So it just pulled this town together, like unbelievable.
You get somebody that gets diagnosed with something. The next thing you know, there's a chicken barbecue or some other fundraising event, and everyone turns out. I've eaten more chicken than I really cared to do for a while.
If somebody has a heart attack in Whitehall, sometimes a couple of other people go too. If somebody has a heart attack in Ticonderoga, about 11 people are there, and you really literally have to beat them off with a stick.
We just don't walk away. We don't say, well, we can't do that, or we can't move forward with that initiative, or that's not an option anymore because of X, Y, and Z. We figure out a way. We always figure out a way to move forward, and we always figure out a way to continue to invest in our success.
You see the check behind me? That was our $10 million Downtown Revitalization Award. Pretty unique for a town of our size to get that particular award. One of the projects that's just finishing up, at least in phase 1, is the rehabilitation of the J.J. Newberry store on Montcalm Street. You can't miss it. It's got black plywood all over it right now.
So it's really been a mutually beneficial for both our economy, our local nonprofits, community events, community causes. So really, as a community as a whole, we are growing. So it's not just economically, really just as a community in general, we are growing. We have seen dozens and dozens of new businesses open, whether that's anchor businesses on like Main Street or businesses in kind of the other business areas within our districts, home-based businesses. And the businesses are not only opening, but the business owners have become very active in the community in a lot of different ways.
It's a It's been, what do you call it, leased out for 5 years to early learning through Silver Bay. They're using the bottom floor right now for, and the gym, of course, for activities and schooling. They have a program for early learners.
People always kind of joke at the fact that if the mill went away, we would be a ghost town. And I don't really think that's the case anymore. I like to see expansion and young people coming back here and making careers in Ticonderoga or in this area.
We are bouncing back. We are better today than we were 10 years ago. We're better today than we were 5 years ago. We're replacing infrastructure. We're increasing housing, turning blighted properties into properties that people can buy and put them on the tax rolls.
And it's just a different world. Kids now, I call them kids, they're in their 30s. They're having kids and I'm teaching their kids now. So it is different, but I think I like this sense of community. It's always felt like home to me.
There's no place quite like it. I'm sure every town would say that, but they're all wrong. It really is the people. You know, when I was a kid, there was two business people that I remember. They would make a point of speaking to me, just a little kid, you know, acknowledging me and, you know, asking how your day was going or how school was going. And for me as a kid to have two business owners, you know, even pay attention to a little kid, that said a lot to me about who they were. And that is Ticonderoga. I wish I could go back now and, you know, let them know what that meant to me, but that's Ticonderoga. It's people. It's people who reach out to help each other, and for the most part, you know, they're all a great community.
The lakes, the mountains, the people. It's a good breed of people that live here.